How's it going, everyone? My name is True Underdog, back today with some more face cam. Many of you have stated in the comments that you do in fact like the face cam videos, so I'm bringing them back. I sure as heck don't like showing my ugly mug, but I aim to please the audience. That's what I live for, right? I want to make you all happy. So today I want to talk about all the stuff that got revealed at the comic convention up in Chicago, because I was unfortunately at work, so I can't give you a genuine reaction to the trailers or any of the stuff because I was watching it on my break, and your boy Underdog is not the kind of guy to fake a reaction. If I do a reaction video, I promise you it's 100% genuine. I'm not going to do any fake ones. However, what I do want to do is break down the Noob Saibot trailer, talk a little bit about Shang Tsung, maybe share some stuff you didn't know about that reveal, and also talk about some of the behind the scenes stuff as well. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. So first up, we have the Noob Saibot trailer. So to start things off, I definitely do want to talk about how amazing Noob Saibot looks. I'm not a huge fan of like the dangly bits on his headdress, but I bet we can customize that, so not a big deal. And the one other thing I don't like about Noob Saibot, but I love everything else, the one thing I don't like is his new voice. He sounds like a transformer, and some people dig that. It's the one thing I didn't like. Everything else, fantastic, spot on. So we have a low starter right there. We have his teleport, it's back, it's probably still down up also. We have a high hitting string that ends in an overhead, I bet. We have a very good extender there, crushing blow on counter hit, I bet. Ooh, big high whiff. Gotta be careful with those high attacks. Wake up 2, and then a slight extender. That right there I want to pause. So that part right there was sick. So he threw a projectile that doesn't actually hit Cassie initially. Instead it passes right through her, and then he teleports to where the blade is. And as you saw from the start, he does pull that sickle out of his own body, so it's pretty clear that weapon is actually an extension of himself. In other words, it contains his essence. So he can throw it and then teleport to wherever the heck that is. And that's going to be a lot of fun in the actual matches. I can't wait, because that's a way to get through projectiles without having to actually throw one yourself. So let's go ahead and watch that again, because you'll notice that he throws the projectile, but it doesn't actually hit, only his teleport does, which is sick. I love that. Right behind her. Now there aren't cross-ups in Mortal Kombat, but it's going to be a great way to switch sides. Here we have his throw, which I love his throw animation. Now I'm not sure what that glow does. In Mortal Kombat 9, that glow made it impossible for the opponent to block. That's what it did. I'm not sure if it still does that or not. If it does, it's a lot awesomer that you can now combo into it, because before you really couldn't. It was very tough to set up. So now if you can combo into that, that's just going to be fantastic. Though I'm not sure why he would do something that makes you not able to block and then go for an unblockable attack anyway, his throw. But this forward throw is just sick. I love it so much. Or is that a back throw? No, it's a forward throw. Looks really good. Love it. Here we have a punish, and then a low attack, a low starter, and then switches sides with a crushing blow. That was a punish crushing blow. And here we have a new stage. Let's talk about the new stage. Who we got there in the back? I think that's Hydro. Could also be Cyber Sub-Zero in a different dimension. I think that that is in fact Hydro, and I honestly do think this is a big hint that we will get Cyborgs as DLC. Now I know that Ed Boon said no repeat DLCs, but keep in mind Triborg was his own character, so we could very possibly still get Hydro or Cyrax or Sector. Those characters have never been DLC before, so I'm still very hopeful. What we got next year? Got a basic combo. Does he teleport where the clone is? I didn't notice that the first time. He does, so he teleports where his clone is there. There we have the classic anti-air. So here we have some MK stuff, here we have some MK9 stuff making a return. Sorry if I stumble a bit, I'm trying to do this all in one take. So we have the anti-air projectile there, which has always been good, and it's great for flashy corner combos. If that comes back, I'm very, very excited. And here we have his typical projectile where the opponent runs at you, and later on we do see his slide projectile which hits low. Now this running guy isn't actually an overhead or anything, he's just a regular mid, but you are forced to block him if you don't jump, and jumping over him isn't always safe because he has a pretty big hitbox, but you can definitely jump over him. Now if you enhance it, it seems better in this game because you can in fact get a crushing blow on the enhance. In MK9, there was no reason to ever enhance this special move unless it won the match, because it didn't do much damage and didn't give you frame advantage either. But here it seems actually useful. Bam, catches him. Really cool stuff. And the teleport gets blocked. That teleport's very unsafe. But then we see Cyrax's arm right there. Or it could be his chest extender. He has the blade come out of his chest sometimes. In MK9 it was in his hand. I think it's actually Cyrax's arm over there, which he does in fact take control of and use to escape, and it has armor because it's an interactable. So, cool stuff there. Big high crush. And then we have a really good combo. This is one of the best combos I've seen so far in Mortal Kombat 11. Now, it's not as flashy as I initially thought. I did break it down myself. So if we start off here, we get the regular launcher. I shouldn't have gone back that far. But we have the launcher, teleport enhances it, Then we have one attack string into an enhanced special move, and then another attack string. So it's a hit, special move, attack string, special move, attack string. Pretty decent stuff. I bet it does some pretty solid damage too, and at the very least it looks awesome. He spent both bars there, so just like Scorpion, he can easily spend 2 bars in the same combo, so that's absolutely sick. I love that. I love me some combo characters, so if Noob Saibot's the combo boy in this game, he might be my main. I'm just saying, I love my combos. And here we see his low attack, and finally with a crushing blow right here too. Now I'm not sure what caused that crushing blow, possibly a counter hit, or maybe even landing it at full screen. I don't like crushing blows that require that, but there are certain crushing blows that you land at max distance or at full screen, and those do a ton of damage, but they're very unlikely to get, because why would the opponent get hit by that, right? Maybe day 1 you'll catch him. And then here we have his back throw, which still looks awesome. I didn't know the first time, I didn't notice that like his buddy's up there holding on to his foot. That's just fantastic. What do we got next? Okay, that's a very terrible low punish, but we have his fatal blow. Now, I saw in the comments the fatal blow was the only thing people didn't seem to like. They said it was very meh. For me personally, this fatal blow was one of the best parts of the fight. It's not the best part for sure, but it's one of them. It's really awesome. I love the movement. I love how he gets tackled from behind and the camera pans over just in time to show you the other Noob Saibot sprinting at him with a flying drop kick. That's one of my favorite fighting game moves of all time. I love when Nightmare does it, for example. And then he drops straight down into his own portal and gets thrown down onto his face only to get smashed from above because bam, gravity. That's just really cool. The only way that could have been better is if he fell through the portal multiple times and then stomped him, but I'm not a huge fan of the fatal blows lasting forever, so I kind of do prefer this right here. Oh, and he impales him through the head. Oh, just beautiful. Very similar to Cabal's, but if you notice, he pulls it all the way through, which means he split their head in half. I don't know how they're not dead, but hey, it's Mortal Kombat characters. They don't die until you finish him. And speaking of finishing him, this fatality, everyone, if you haven't seen it and you're squeamish, look away. This might be one of the most gross fatalities so far in the game. And I was worried because, for any of you that don't know, in MK9, Noob Saibot had arguably the best fatality in the game in terms of how brutal it was. And it looks like NetherRealm knew that. They're like, nah, we can one-up that. This can be just as brutal, and I think it is. It didn't seem like it at first with the crowd reaction, but when you listen to it with the volume up, you can hear the gurgling from the victim and like the tearing, and it just sounds so gross, man. Oh, it's so good though. He basically pulls an Ant-Man and teleports himself inside the opponent, and then like gets large inside and tears him in half. It is pretty nuts. Oh, so gross. Look at that. That's a screensaver right there. Oh, my boy Sub-Zero dies in every trailer. Oh, so sick. And even the clone inside is covered in blood, if you look at him. That's why he looks so slick right there. I do like how the clone always looks slightly different than the regular Noob Saibot. If we can customize the clone, that's gonna be sick. Or even if he changes when you pick a new outfit, that would be cool too. I'd love that. Ah, so brutal. And this outro is just sick because I love when they actually spin the weapon appropriately. It feels like he actually has mastered the weapon, and then, oh, it's so great. He's got to stand. He's a JoJo character. He's got to stand. It's just fantastic. I love it. Fantastic trailer. Super exciting. Loved it. Absolutely awesome. So that's about it for the breakdown. I hope I did a good job. If I missed something, please tell me down in the comments. I'd love to read about it. So next up, we have a double reveal. The Crypt and Shang Tsung, who has in fact been confirmed as the first DLC character, and I'm surprised. I thought for sure they were going to show up a guest character today, but I was wrong, and I was wrong in the best kind of way, because I love Shang Tsung. I'm very surprised they showed him first. I thought for sure if it was a guest, I mean not a guest character, I thought it would be a Cyborg, or maybe Rain, you know, someone who's really popular, but they said no repeat DLC, but you know, just someone who's super duper popular. And Shang Tsung definitely is, but he's also someone we've seen before. But even so, let's talk about how Shang Tsung looks here. So if you're a fan of those old 90s movies, you might notice he looks a bit familiar. I think even the crowd's freaking out a little bit here. So his actual character model is based off the original actor of Shang Tsung from the first Mortal Kombat movie. I love that film. It's very cheesy and I love it. It's not even really bad, and if it is bad, it's bad in a good kind of way. Now the second film, you know, I can like take it or leave it. It's not my favorite. I think it's like not even just cheesy, it's kind of just bad. You don't really feel a passion in that movie as much. The first film is just so great because of how cheesy it is. Not to mention the lore wasn't really established yet for Mortal Kombat, at least not that much. So a lot of stuff is just plain wrong. You see Scorpion and Sub-Zero on the same team, for example, right? Fighting together. You see Sub-Zero trying to kill Liu Kang, which he wouldn't be doing. He fights for Earthrealm. So it's just awesome to see stuff like that. I absolutely do love it. And I also love how the actor came back to play Shang Tsung. That's just absolutely awesome. I'll go ahead and throw up a picture on screen of how he looked back in the day, and I really do hope that if Shang Tsung has a young variation, which I'm sure he will, I hope they use a character model that looks like this. I'm not sure how they're gonna do it with the whole like face sculpting technology. I'm not sure if they cheat like the Metal Gear Solid series does. So in Metal Gear Solid 5, they actually had a machine that took photos of your head, and that would kind of cut the time in half when it came to character modeling and face modeling. And face modeling is the toughest part of making a character, by the way. Modeling the body is difficult, but it's manageable. The face is where you spend 90% of your time because our faces are just so complicated. They can do all sorts of expressions and emotions, and you gotta make sure your face model can capture all of that. So the face models are very difficult, so any way you can cut corners is of course a good idea. So I'm not exactly sure how they're gonna do the young version of Shang Tsung, but if he does have a young version, I want him to be the spitting image of how he looked in the first Mortal Kombat movie. I'd be super excited if that was the case, but even if not, the old version here looks great. He's actually quite colorful. I'm not gonna lie, if you showed this to someone for the first time and asked them is he a good guy or a bad guy, I think some of them might think he's actually a protagonist. I mean, look at him. He looks kind of like Shujinko. He's got those bright colors. Looks like a good guy. He also looks a little bit bigger. Shang Tsung when he's old always looks super thin and emaciated. This Shang Tsung looks like he still eats well. You know, he's still eating right, got a good diet. That's what it looks like. I like his colors a lot. And I like how the outfits in Mortal Kombat 11 look like something that's not too complicated. I actually really do like that. I agree with Eris completely. How it looks kind of like a throwback to the first games where they put on the outfits and they're not too complicated. It seems like something you would actually wear to a fight. You know, it's very simple. And Shang Tsung being a sorcerer, right? He's not going to wear any armor, or at least not too much. He has some armor here, but not a ton. He wants to be able to move and have free range of his arms so he can cast spells and stuff, right? He's very mobile. Doesn't want to be weighed down by armor. Of course, he has the shoulder armor, but I think that's just to look a little bit sinister. I think that's why he has it. But he looks fantastic. I mean, tell me how you feel about Shang Tsung down in the comments. I think he looks great. His eyes might be a little bit too big, but at the same time, this is NetherRealm, and we've seen the crazy drastic changes they make to faces, like Sonya, where she looks entirely different now for the better. So if Shang Tsung does look a little bit off now, I'd say take it with a grain of salt because I think he'll look a lot better down the line. I mean, I think he looks fine right now. I'd be okay with him being like this in the game, but at the same time, I also do think he'll look much better when the game finally does come out because he is DLC and they didn't show any gameplay of him because I don't think they've even started that yet. I think they basically finished his model and had the cinematic done and that's it. Now, as for the crypt itself, they didn't really show too much. He just gave a brief summary of it. But he did hint that the entire island is like the crypt, so that sounds awesome. I can't wait to explore it. I was hoping he would like stress how there's some dangerous things in the crypt, but I didn't really see him mention that. He just kind of said it would be great no matter what, but I would love if there was some sort of catch-22 to the crypt. Like maybe it's possible to be robbed and lose some of your coins if you're not careful. Maybe you gotta answer some riddles, and if you answer wrong, maybe it's Mortal Kombat trivia, and if you answer wrong, you get punished somehow. That would be fantastic. A great face render right here of the character. He just looks awesome. Here you can definitely tell that he's the actor from the first film, and I just absolutely love that. But they didn't say too much about the crypt, so I look forward to seeing a lot more about it, and honestly, I'm okay with seeing it all for the first time when the game comes out. I think the crypt is one of those things that it's just gonna be great no matter what, so I'm always excited to see it. So this next part was fun too, where they show the breakdown of how fatalities are figured out in the studio. Now if you watch all the combat casts, they already did go over this before, and they reiterate it a little bit here, but at least this time it's a different fatality, and they do go into a bit more detail. They even show the base motion capture before they go in and hand key it. For anyone who's not aware, I think hand keying looks better almost every time, and even Pixar, one of the best animation studios, they don't use motion capture. They just always hand key it, and they're some of the best animators out there, right? Now there's nothing wrong with motion capture at all. It definitely does save you a lot of time, but I think all the magic happens when you go back and keyframe it by hand. When you touch stuff up, go in the graph editor, that's when it turns out looking really beautiful. Basic motion capture does look really rough if you don't polish it up, to be sure. But it's still a really cool video. You see how it's broken down, they show you all the detail. I like how the artist chose there to add all the detail, right? It was kind of like stick figures before, but now it's like all this detail of the muscle tissue and he's showing off his knowledge of anatomy. Ugh, really gross stuff. And I love seeing behind the scenes stuff like this. Always a lot of fun. And that's pretty much it for all the exciting stuff that happened during the stream, though I did want to mention a slight hiccup that happened when I was watching it. So at the start, they wouldn't actually show some of the gameplay. It was only for the people who were actually there live at the event. And I can somewhat understand that if that was on purpose, but I'm not entirely sure because the interviewer would sometimes look at the camera and say, for those of you at home, how was that? And everyone in the comments section, like in the chat, is just blowing it up like, we didn't see it. We didn't see anything. You didn't let us see it. Is that intentional or is it a mess up? Someone fix it. Like tweet at Boone, get this fixed. And then that dislike bar. My God, everyone, that dislike bar just shot up. And it broke my heart because even at the end, when the stream had ended and everyone was clearly happy with it, it was still a negative dislike ratio, right? Way more dislikes than likes. And that just broke my heart because I think overall it was a very good stream, but there was that slight hiccup at the start and people just forgot to remove the dislike and add it to the like. They just forgot to do it entirely, but I guess that's okay because I think as long as everyone's happier at the end of the stream, that's a good look. Alright everyone, that's about it for me in this video, so if you enjoyed, please leave a like down below. It really does help my channel out a ton. And then while you're down there, why not keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell? That way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs. Not sure what to do with my hands in these videos. Anyway, I'll see ya.